Welcome to Can We Talk About, a weekly podcast where we dive into discussions on varying topics and find ourselves in different waters than where we started. I'm CatEaterr.
And I'm Johnny5. You can email us at cwtabout@gmail.com.
And can we talk about McAfee?
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. I'm so excited for this.
So originally I thought this was going to be a two-part episode. I think I can put it in one.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess that's actually good, but I was really hoping.
I will say this is a Rough Waters episode.
Really?
Yes. Sexual
Oh
content,
my god.
murder, drugs, animal cruelty.
Dude.
So just be forewarned.
Holy crap.
Let's start at the beginning. In the beginning, there was John McAfee.
Oh, damn
John-
it. I have to share the same name with him. Ugh,
Oh, I know, it's sad.
it's lame. All right.
John
what the
McAfee
hell?
was born on September 18th, 1945.
September. So he's a Leo. I don't know.
He was born in the UK, in Gloucestershire or something like that.
Okay.
And they moved to Roanoke, Virginia when he was still a child. Just to put how not far away things are in time, 1945
Really?
is when this man was born.
Huh.
So, like, 2 years after World War II really ended?
Yeah.
3? Yeah. In 1961, his dad shoots himself and goes bye-bye.
Oh, wow. Okay.
His dad was a, raging alcoholic, and there was problems and
Okay.
such.
Okay, that's a little... Okay.
He goes to college, and he gets a bachelor's in mathematics, then goes to State University for a PhD in mathematics.
Okay.
But his degree is terminated, and the reason cited is unaccepted sexual behavior. I will say that I found later in in the documentary that I watched that I name my sources at the end, unlike him. Sorry, you want to find out? You have to listen. That I think the unacceptable sexual behavior was because he was dating one of his, not students, but he was student teaching. You have to lecture for a while and stuff before you can get your PhD. It's part of the program.
Yeah.
And while he was being the teacher, he was dating one of the students and in fact ended up marrying them at some point. I don't know if they were still his student at that point, but they end up getting married.
I mean, okay. Age difference aside, just that is kind of already gross to me.
100%.
Because if you're gonna
you're
teach
taking
someone,
advantage of a position of power.
yeah, it's the same thing with having a therapist do that.
Yeah.
It's I don't know about that.
Yeah, it's not great. He becomes a programmer at NASA at their site in New York City. He says that he made some world-changing programs for collecting data and stuff like that, and he says he did it single-handedly. NASA's we have no record that he participated in these programs. We cannot confirm that happened. They're very neutral about it. But they do go on to say that, him saying that he did those things single-handedly is kind of an affront and disrespect for all of the names on those programs.
Yeah.
Which is fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then he goes to Univac, which is a computer corporation, to work as a software designer. Then he goes to Xerox as an operating systems architect.
Okay.
Architect.
So he's making some Xerox machines?
No, I mean, if he's doing the operating systems, I think it's probably the systems that they use.
Oh.
Their programs.
Oh, okay.
And stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I could be wrong, but then in 1978, he joins Computer Science Corporation as a software consultant, which, these people are not creative.
No, yeah. That
Computer Science Corporation.
Yeah, but that's how it was, back anywhere between, even early 2000s, you still had stupid names like that.
I just feel like we'll find a better spot for these. Anyways. Then he goes to Booz Allen Hamilton, a consulting firm. Mind you, through all of this time, he's doing drugs and drunk pretty much the whole time.
Okay.
And then in 83, he goes to Omex. Omex?
He's got like the eyes wide shut parties.
There's cocaine everywhere at work. They're drinking and doing coke at work, which an old coworker from this time says happened everywhere.
Wait a minute.
Like,
it actually.
normal.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and she's like, "That was normal. That was Silicon Valley in the 80s."
Yeah.
Yeah.
My god.
And then he gets fired due to his alcoholism and drug addiction. That being said, his old coworker says that they both left Omex because it wasn't going anywhere and it was starting to flounder.
It sounds better on a resume to say that.
That's true, but she could have said that I left because of this, but anyway.
Fair enough.
He goes to AA and is sober for a while.
How long's a while?
I don't know.
All right.
He gets another job at Lockheed and is designing antivirus software on his own time.
Fun, I guess. For a nerd.
He founds McAfee Associates and in 89 quits his job to fully commit.
Good.
His company is multi-million, very quickly. They soar within, a year or two. Multi-million-dollar company. Because this is a point where computers are really, starting to become a commonplace thing. And viruses, are coming around and destroying everything and, whatever.
Yeah.
And so he comes up with this antivirus software that is revolutionary. It was the very first one. And honestly, we have him to thank for some people with a lot of money owe a thanks to McAfee. Because without him, there probably wouldn't even be a market for antivirus software. He made it.
Yeah, I guess so.
He made the market for it.
That's cool.
Anyway, so he...
But I guess also on the other hand, it's like people like him. I guess there's whenever you make something like that, there's always going to be the offhand that somebody like that is also going to be doing stuff for the bad. So okay, that makes sense.
What?
Like he wasn't the originator of let's hack a computer. You know what I mean? But the fact that you need the anti-piracy stuff means that there's going to be people that are also going to use it for you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
So I guess it makes sense.
So he had people that had never held jobs before doing the tech support and customer service for the McAfee Associates company.
I mean, honestly, that's how those function now. Yeah.
There are drugs everywhere, and one of the executives would come in every morning and clean his desk off because there was a sex contest in the office.
A sex contest?
Yep. Anywhere you could. As many places as you could. The weirdest places that you could.
Wow, they just had a list of...
And there was a point system.
Wow. Did they have a high score, a board and all that kind of stuff?
I don't know if they had a board or not.
Oh my god,
they
that's
didn't
crazy.
get into that much detail, but they must have had one somewhere. They're numbers guys. For sure there had to have been some sort of form they were
Somebody had the fucking what's it called? The almanac. The sex almanac.
Yeah. No shit.
Oh my god.
Then in 1994 he sells off all his stakes in the company and resigns.
Okay.
According to one of the executives, they had bought him out because they wanted to take the company to the next level. And he...
Don't use that word.
But they really meant it. They really wanted to take it somewhere other than just selling antivirus and helping people install it. They really wanted to take it to places where it would be automatically on computers when you get them. And, they wanted to grow it. They wanted to make it more than just the one thing that it was doing.
Yeah.
And he
most
didn't.
companies nowadays.
Yeah. And he didn't. I don't know if it was because God, I can't get in that guy's head. And I also won't get in that guy's head.
No, I don't blame you.
But I imagine he was perfectly happy with the minimal commitment required at this point while making lots and lots of money.
Yeah, I would say so.
Also, with nobody keeping him responsible for anything.
Right. Yeah.
But they also, and then at the end of that statement, the executive's and honestly, we weren't really sure he could help us take it to the next level. Like, he was not the person to make that happen.
Well, clearly, if he's like, his form of entertainment is much more along the lines of like, hey, you know, like, let's watch like a dirty movie and have like a bunch of, you know what I mean? Like,
Let's do coke off of hookers' asses.
Yeah, and then maybe we throw an update like a year's time or something. Like,
if we need
not,
to.
Yeah, not the biggest on the actual thing.
So he pulls all his money. And then he tries some social network launches. Like, I don't even remember what they were. They don't exist. They're not.
Cool.
Like
Successful.
We Village or some shit. I don't even know. It did not work out well.
Okay.
Tribe. We Tribe? Something like that.
Okay.
Anyways, they were not successful. It did not work.
Shocking.
So then in 2000, he buys property in Colorado. 280 acres to be exact.
Oh,
So
Colorado.
many acres.
We love you, Denver.
And then he opens a yoga/meditation center.
Yeah, that's his speed. That is his speed. That's his speed.
And he
That's gross.
writes like these books, because he's been practicing yoga for his
For
whole
40
life.
years, yeah.
For 40 years. That came out of his mouth. I'm pretty
Oh my
certain
God.
at one point I heard that in one of the recordings. And he's been doing it his whole life, and he studied with some guy whose name I don't remember, but was very much supposed to be like, oh, that guy? And so he writes these little pamphlets about being enlightened and how you can be enlightened and how we meditate in different ways and ego and how to lose the sense of self and all sorts of stupid shit that he was incapable of doing.
Right.
And they ended up interviewing this gal at one point that, like, still to this day was like, oh yeah, he was enlightened. The next time I met him, he was not. But he was when I met him. And I'm like, that's not how enlightenment works.
That's not how it works, yeah.
Once you're there, you're there.
Yeah.
It doesn't just go away. But there were, like, rumors going around that there was a cult up there in the hills.
Ooh, wait, hold up. This turns into a cult?
Well, just rumors of it. Unfortunately, I don't have any details saying that it really was a cult. But I will say,
it was a sex group, though.
I'm sure there was lots of sex. He also let them all come and stay on their own. Like, he paid for everything, but they all, like, slept on little mats, and it was up there secluded. And the people that I heard and saw were still very much like, that guy. And so I'm like, well, maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit.
Okay.
Nobody's to say it wasn't.
Yeah.
And we like to imagine. In 2008, the financial crisis, which I love how, like, each financial crisis that happens has a different name to it, but the 2008 one is just the 2008 financial crisis.
Yeah, yeah.
You know? We'll just call it a financial crisis instead of we did bad money stuff, and so bad money stuff happened.
See, I'm not going into everything because I've been listening to my philosophy podcast, but yes, I could shatter it. Yeah.
In the 2008 financial crisis, he loses almost all of his fortune, from $100 million to $4 million.
That's a lot.
I mean, he's just a normal man now.
Well, okay, well, hold up. 4 million is still 4 million.
Yeah, but he's back under the 1%. Like 4 million.
Yeah.
4 million. Okay, you're a person.
Okay.
You are
I
not
see.
included in my eat the rich statement.
Yeah, you're not in the conglomerate. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
He is not mega rich anymore.
Crazy.
This is a guy that could live past the money he has at 4 million.
That makes sense because the 2008 or there was like the .com crash or whatever.
Yeah, that probably had a lot to do with it too.
I would assume.
Well, that was a little earlier, I thought.
I think
like
so.
Enron and shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a.
That's me realizing we just had an episode come up.
Yeah.
In 2009, he sells off his Colorado estate.
No, not the sex cult.
He says that people were taking advantage of him.
Really?
That's what he says.
Oh my god, wait, hold up. The balls on this man.
Oh, dude, you didn't even know. There were times where Juan looked at me and he's like, are you okay? And I was like, ah.
Oh my god.
They do an auction for all of his belongings. So it's like an estate sale, but an estate auction. Okay. John McAfee's table. Yeah, you want John McAfee's table?
I'll take it.
Yeah. And he says in the emails, the lady that was doing the documentary I watched had email correspondence with him.
Okay.
And this motherfucker's great. Like, just the way that, like, he reads.
Yeah.
You're like, you're not all here, are you?
Yeah.
Not to speak ill of the dead, but... Oh, spoiler alert, he
dead?
dies.
Oh, no.
Juan didn't know.
I didn't know either, no.
Oh, no, okay.
That sucks.
That really was a spoiler alert, I'm sorry.
Sucks to suck.
It was small potatoes at the time. He probably thought it was going to be a big deal.
What, that he was going to die?
Yeah. I only say that statement based on all of the things that are in this paper I know about him.
Okay.
He definitely probably thought it was going to be a big deal. Poor timing. But in the emails, he says that he decided to quietly move on. And that's why he did all of that. Not because he was running out of money or... I don't know, people were coming after him or whatever, you know. He was just like...
That's his excuse. He's just got... It worked the last time. Just keep running it.
So he decides to move to Central America.
That's where everybody goes. He's
but
not
really
special.
Like, yeah.
I'm sorry.
So he moves to Belize.
Cool. Fancy.
This is a cool piece, so I thought I'd add it. He hires locals... and pays them, so like typically locals would be paid like $20 to $25 a day to when they're building like a house. He was paying them $45 a day.
Okay.
Which was a big deal.
Yeah. I should clarify.
Honestly, that's like living wage here in a lot of places, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was not many years ago I was making $45 a day.
I would assume that down there that's a lot more as well. Right? Like,
yeah, I would think so.
Your money, your
well,
bang
I don't know if
it
was 45 US dollars or not.
Oh, fair enough.
But okay. I don't know if it... They all speak English there. Like, I don't know how much their dollar differential is or not, because Americans go there a lot. There's a lot of expats there.
In my head, I'm always, like, when I said that, like, everybody goes there, I just mean, like, if you're a business owner and you get kicked out somewhere, then you go to Central America.
Oh, you certainly do. And Belize is a really good one because everybody speaks English there. So you don't have to learn a new language.
If you want any other example for that, go to the banana episode, Sam the Banana Man.
Yeah, man. And there's good reasons. There's lots of good reasons. Some I will get into because I can't help but tangent. He hires a bunch of guys with like criminal records and guys Solid. In gangs, like the worst gangs.
They're trustworthy.
In Carmelita, Belize, which is like the city or town, or I don't really know. And he starts driving around town at night with 12 to 13 guys and sets a curfew on the town. He says if you're out on the street after 9 p.m., you'll regret it. And they patrol with guns, like AKs and shit.
Is he making any money off of this? Like,
rolling
what the fuck?
Around in their trucks. He's just crazy, dude. I don't know.
That's nuts.
Power.
He's a literal vigilante, and that's not even... That's just a gang at that point. You have 12, 13 guys with you?
Right. He just bought a bunch of other people from gangs.
Yeah.
And made a gang. He opens up a police station, but he doesn't want police in it.
Oh.
He wants his people in it.
What the fuck?
I'm going to put Enron on my hand because I just remembered that I throw these papers on the ground and then shove them in a pile over here. He has a microbiologist. Okay, so he decides when he goes down there, he decides that he's going to look at all the plants in Belize and he's going to find something that nobody's found yet and make a new, like, pharmaceutical.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
He's jumping ship real quick. Okay.
So he finds this microbiologist who is like, wow, that's literally my dream job, to just experiment on different plants and biodiversity things and see what they have and discover stuff and maybe make some shit. That'd be great. I'm fresh out of college.
I was going to say she's 19. Like, yeah. So, I'm assuming it's a she as well.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, knew it. God, fuck.
And so he's paying to research all the different plants in the area in hopes to come out with a new pharmaceutical. When he has journalists come and is like, yeah, we're on our way. We're making discoveries and stuff like that. We've got a new antibacterial spray we're working on rolling out. The tests have been great. And it's so that, like, he ends up telling her, because she's like, I don't like this. Because he makes her just, like, put dye in flasks and stuff to make it look like they have things going on.
Yeah.
Like, literally, it's just like, put food dye in here. You know? And she's like, I don't like this. And he's like, it's just business so that we can get backers.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
You gotta put on a
Fluff it
front.
a little on the front. Yeah, that's all. Just gotta fluff it a little on the front.
God.
Because she's not making any progress with the plants.
Damn
There's
it.
nothing cool.
They're not finding anything?
No.
That's still, well, I'm shitting on her life's work. That's kind of...
Well, she
I didn't
does
mean to
other
go that
things. I don't know. I have a piece about her. Anyways.
Okay.
He calls his security men, which is what all those dudes were that he bought, his hitmen. But when he's talking to, like, official people, he's like, they're just my security. They're my bodyguards.
Why?
But when he's talking casually, he's like, my hitmen.
I'm sorry, is somebody trying to go after this man already?
He is convinced that that is, in fact, the case.
Oh my god, wait, hold up. Is he going Bobby Fischer route on this shit?
He thinks...
Is the CIA and the FBI on this guy's ass? Oh my god. What the fuck, dude?
Once the hitmen are, like, so many that it's just, like, excessive as fuck and then extra excessive as fuck because she's, like, 19, 20 and foolish. She's like, okay, listen, I don't like what you're doing and I'm not finding anything and I miss my family. I want to go home.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
And... you know, she tells her story, and I'm not going to go into all of the details, especially because when somebody tells their story of how they do stupid things, it's always 20/20 hindsight, and things make so much more sense when you look back at them. And one of the things is that not everybody walks around not thinking people have the best intentions, and not actively distrusting every person until they prove otherwise. And, you know, just... people don't just walk... well, back then, women do not just walk around thinking, oh, I might be raped any second, you know?
Yeah.
So now video is everywhere and people are able to talk more and, you know, so we realize how prevalent it is. But back then it's like, well, I don't know anybody because we didn't talk about it and people can't talk about it anywhere on their phones and shit.
Yeah, but I still think that they knew that was happening, though, right?
Like they were aware or whatever, but I don't think it was
much more you just kept it under.
I'm just saying
doors.
They didn't mass produce cup covers for you to take with you when you go out on the town.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't culturally
as accepted.
Aware, really. Like, no, I really do mean aware. I mean, like, women knew it happened, but they knew in small circles. They knew, like, somebody had been if that person shared that with them. And they knew that could happen, but they didn't expect it or know that it's 1 in 4.
We're still talking, like, 80s, right? Or are you talking, like, literally, like, 10 years ago or 20 years ago?
This is 2000 something. But it's, like, before 2010. It's, like, early 2000s.
Early 2010s.
2006, 2007, maybe.
Okay, I can get behind you on that then.
Yeah, I'm not saying, like, they don't know about it at all.
Because smartphones are just, like... yeah.
But if somebody offers you Tylenol, you think it's just Tylenol.
Yeah, it's the same... I would put it in the same reference as the like, civil rights movement. As far as, like... In for whatever reason, like, in the 90s to 2000s, like, general public just kind of assumed that, well, and by general public, I mean, like, if you're not black and you don't see it all the time, just assumed that, oh, well, yeah, no, it's fine. We're all good. And I would assume it's the same thing with that until you had more smartphone, like, once smartphones started popping up and then you could actually see the videos constantly nonstop, then it's like, oh, well, actually, we have this, like, back catalog of some fucked up shit.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
I can get behind that.
Basically, he drugged her with orange juice, and because they were in another country, she was just like, this is shitty orange juice.
Okay. I can... yeah.
you look back and you're like, obviously, right? But in that moment, you don't just assume that that's what's happening. You're also in fucking Belize. Like,
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, she's like, I even remember it. She kind of rolls her eyes at herself. She's like, so fucking stupid. I was like, can't even get good orange juice here. You know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, but anyways, he drugs her and rapes the shit out of her. And she, like, when she wakes up the next day, she leaves and cleans herself up and kind of, you know, takes some time to recover.
Yeah.
And when she recovers, she comes back and she's like, I'm leaving, buy me out.
Good. Hey, good for her. Get the fuck out of there.
He loses it.
Maybe you shouldn't have done it that way. Maybe you should have just walked away.
He starts screaming and throwing shit, and she goes running to the lab, which was its own building on his plot of land, and, like, quickly buys a ticket, quickly emails her dad, and is like, I'm fucking leaving here, shit's crazy, done, and then power's cut, internet's cut, and he's coming to the building, and he's
Holy
like,
shit.
bang, 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 and shit, you know, and she's just hiding, and he leaves, and then he comes back with a gun, and he's like, bang, 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 and, you know, and then he finally leaves, and she quickly, like, gets on her phone, and she's like, oh my God. She had, you know, she'd been there for a few years, so she got a couple of friends, and they came, and they got her, and escorted her, and hid her for 2 or 3 days until the time for her flight, and then escorted her to the plane, and then she left.
Oh my God.
So that was, wild. Shortly after...
That was wild.
Yes. He has someone interviewing him, and he says that he's had 11 attempts to kidnap, kill, or jack him, which I think means, like, rob. Like, I'm gonna jack that. Jack him. I think it's to rob him. But
I'm gonna rob you.
I'm gonna jack you. But I'm 12, so I immediately am like, you're gonna jack him?
Yeah.
But 11 attempts in a year. That's what he says.
You're insane.
Nobody wants you that bad.
Nobody cares about you.
Yeah.
He's living in the Truman Show.
Yeah, man. So then there's this guy, David Middleton. He actually does break into his house, into John McAfee's house, and steals some stuff. And he calls his driver, this guy. He calls his driver. His name's Cassius. People call him Cash.
Cassius. Hell yeah.
He's a local man who apparently has some pull with folks and asks him to send some scary dudes over to beat the shit out of David, to make a point, show an example, right? Mm-hmm. They go to his house and he runs. Instead of running into town, which would have made it harder for them to get him just because obstacles,
Yeah.
he ran into the bush. You know, the jungle.
Yeah, he did.
Always go to the bush. Anyways, they beat the shit out of him.
Oh,
like
shit.
They use knives to cut him up, but not like to kill him cut, just
To
cut
maim
him the fuck up. Mm-hmm. And they tase the fuck out of him. Like, they tase him everywhere, in the mouth and the face. They pull down his pants and tase his genitals. Like, they torture this man.
Oh, fuck.
Then the next morning, like, they spend time doing this.
Yeah.
Early mornings rolling around, they drive up to his house and just roll him out of the truck and leave.
Yeah.
Somebody takes him to the hospital. And he falls into a coma in the hospital. And then he dies
Oh, fuck.
in the hospital.
Oh.
So now it's murder.
Yeah.
No follow through about that at all.
Really?
I just know
Nobody
that
gave a
that guy
fuck.
ended up dying. There was news about it. But
Is it because...
there's reasons. I can explain later why.
Okay, I was going to
Nothing
say...
further happens there.
Okay, what I was going to say, is it because he was just a burglar? Like,
No.
he was a criminal, kind of? Mm-mm. Huh.
I'll explain later.
Fair enough.
He has John McAfee, not David Middleton.
Yeah.
He's dead.
Yeah, I understood.
He has like 8 to 12 girlfriends. I couldn't really keep track of how many. But he has a bunch, and they call him Mr. John. Like, he has a straight up harem, okay?
Oh, God, no.
And here's a fun thing that I can tell you, is he was good to these ladies. I mean, the interviewee asked them all the same question.
Yeah.
And all of them answered most of them the exact same way. But one of them was, who did he treat the best? And every single one of them said, well, I think he treated me the best.
Then... good? Is this good? Because
I mean, I think so. At least he was treating somebody right.
he had he did a great job of making them believe that they mattered, right? Because that from a
Well,
guy.
they're in Belize. They're not stupid. They don't need to be treated like they matter. They just need to be treated well. He took care of them. He paid for all their stuff. He paid for school for them. He didn't beat them up. That's good for them. They're happy with that.
Okay, fair enough. I don't know. It just sounds like a pimp.
They also did not have to have sex with him.
Okay, well that's.
I will tell you what they had to do instead.
Everything but sex. You know what I mean?
Do you mean everything instead of sex, or do you mean everything but sex?
Yeah. Both.
He never penetrated them in any way, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, but
Anywhere.
yeah, but maybe they I don't know, did everything else around that. You know what I mean? Like they touched him.
Here is, from what I can tell, from what they all said that they got interviews on, which was like 5 or 6 of them. The only thing that he made them do sexually. Okay. So you would take a hammock. Okay.
Oh my god, what the fuck? You get a hammock. I got a
cut
hammock.
a hole in the hammock.
Oh, in my head it was already mesh. So okay, there's a hole in there now.
Cloth hammock, hole. You sit on it so the hammock's going this way, right?
Jesus Christ. Okay.
And then he would lay under the hammock.
Yeah.
And then they would boom boom in his mouth. It's not where you thought it was going.
No. What? Okay.
Or on his face.
Okay. Weird.
We don't kink shame here.
No, that's fine. Hey, if you're into that, God bless you. I don't actually believe in God.
In Belize, they call that scat sex.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, see, okay. My head didn't even go to poop. I was just like, oh, well, that's kind of okay, whatever. But no, that's gross. I'm sorry. God.
I mean, if that gets you off fine, for me, boom boom in my mouth is not where it should be. No. At all.
No, that was a thing that was like early internet stuff where you were like, hey, dude, watch this.
He watched 2 Girls, 1 Cup and never looked back.
Yeah. He was like, wait, I thought you guys are all watching this too? Like,
Ooh, there's a name for this?
God.
Okay, we're going to move forward from that.
Good.
April 2012.
I had to get the taste out of my mouth. Sorry.
Good God. John McAfee is arrested.
For what?
For unlicensed drug... Jesus criminy. Brought to you by water. No.
Oh my God. Dude,
He's
we got that
arrested.
as sponsorship? No.
Dude, if we could get... Well, that's just Nestle, right?
Well played. Well played.
Anyways, he's arrested for unlicensed drug manufacturing and possession of an unlicensed weapon. And this is kind of cool.
I tell why you fucking idiot. That's such an easy fix.
Dude, I know. Especially in Belize. $2.
Right,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Anyways, so this is pretty cool to me. Part of it. Anyways, I'll tell you the part. It's like they're paladins. Anyways, so it's 5 a.m. Another dawn raid.
Yay!
2 episodes that I've presented in a row with a dawn raid. I wonder how many I can keep it going. Anyways,
You're good.
and the GSU, the Gang Suppression Unit. No, I've already moved past it. Is a national police group in Belize, and they pride themselves on being incorruptible. No matter how much money you give them, no matter what you offer, they will not fuck around. They're here to take you down.
That's cool, in a way.
And that's their whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, if there is an incorruptible force in Belize, it's the GSU.
Right.
And I love that for them.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, they had heard that he was mass producing narcotics, which is why they showed up in the first place. And when they got there, they found lots of guns, but the drugs weren't drugs. They looked like drugs. In fact, the commander of the GSU said that they looked like methamphetamine or cocaine, but when they tested them, they weren't the real deal, like alchemically.
So they didn't actually
Which is
have
weird.
cocaine?
Was he making fake drugs and selling them as real drugs? I feel like that should
an easy
also
business.
be illegal.
Well, yeah, it is. Yeah.
Like...
Maybe?
false advertisement? I wonder if you could do that. I wonder if somebody was selling fake drugs, you could sue them. That would be the most American thing in the world. To sue them for not selling you fake or illegal drugs when they said they were selling you illegal drugs.
I think okay, and this is just I'm really pulling back for the memory machine right here. Okay.
Are you using a cartridge or a disc?
It's a book.
Okay.
Oh,
mine's a Rolodex. Anyways.
Oh, I see what you're saying. What actually is my memory bank in here? Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Okay.
I've never formulated one. That's kind of cool. Now I just think it's like a DVD player. It's kind of great.
Oh.
Lame. But no, there's I'm fairly positive that like through my law enforcement stuff and all that kind of stuff, I'm fairly positive that you can't sell like illegal drug or like you can't sell something that's looks like illegal drugs either or something like that.
Okay.
Because whether it's false advertising or not, you're still selling the thing that you shouldn't be selling
with the intent of yeah. I also want to note that the commander said that he was selling them online. And I think that's pretty stupid.
Yeah, because there's like a whole fucking backlog of what the fuck you're doing.
Ridiculous.
But he had anti-privacy or privacy. You know what I mean? Like he could do it.
No, he didn't.
Oh, okay. That's right. Yeah.
That's a fun little tidbit at the end. So McAfee says that he was targeted because he didn't pay a local politician off. He said the politician asked for $2 million. I find this hard to believe because like $2 million is kind of a like way bigger amount of money than I think anybody would ask for him for.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
But moving on, he leaves Orange Walk, which is like the neighborhood he's in there.
Yeah.
And he goes back to the main San Pedro area, and he starts hallucinating, like legitimately hallucinating. Like he's telling people, he's like, I swear to God, I saw this yesterday. I swear to God, I saw this last night. He starts hallucinating people with machine guns walking out of the sea coming for him.
Atlantis getting some fucking modern day.
I just watched that with Eli yesterday. It was so good.
It's just getting God fucking.
So he takes all of his bodyguards and girls with him, and like around town and shit. And people do not like him because these guys are just like walking around with guns and shit. And they're like,
"Really? Are you kidding me?
Hi, I'm just in San Pedro, living my retirement. Can you leave?"
Does anybody like a guy that's just got like 8 college girls around
Bitches.
him?
Yeah. And this guy, Gregory Fall, is like, he fucking sucks. Like, quote, he's just a rich American and he's scaring the locals.
That's exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, 100%. Like, he quantified him in one sentence. He came to Belize to build homes. Gregory Fall.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did. Gregory Fall.
Oh, Gregory. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. I thought we were still talking about McAfee.
No. Gregory Fall came to build homes. He was a builder where he was from, and he was like, let's just go build some shit down here.
That's cool.
And he liked to take relaxing walks on the beach from where he lived down to the local like bar market.
Yeah.
It was like 1,200 feet.
Oh,
But
okay.
he liked to just stroll on down, you know?
Yeah.
But McAfee's, he was mad because McAfee also had like these vicious ass dogs that like were not trained and were really mean. And he just let them roam free, like all over the beach, all over the yard, all over everywhere.
Yeah.
So his nice walks were ruined because he had to go to McAfee's to get to the place.
Yeah.
Go past McAfee's to go to the place. So
it's like the one house in the neighborhood, but like times 10.
yes, I'm that one house in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
But anyways, no, I'm not those.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah.
But I'm not far off, honestly. My yard's a mess.
Well, it's good that you have them next to you.
Yeah, it makes me look less bad. They're Jerry Springer.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he goes to McAfee's house. Gregory goes to John McAfee's house, and he's like, my guy, get your dogs off the beach. They're dicks. And John McAfee puts a fucking shotgun in his face and tells him to get the fuck off his property.
Well, that's
Like
a message. Yeah, that's a message.
Then Greg goes to the police, and the police do nothing, according to the locals.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds, yeah.
Eventually, Greg loses it, and he decides that he's going to poison the dogs.
Whoa! The fuck?
So, it's like 12 dogs. They're terrorizing half of the town. I'm not justifying it. I'm just explaining where he's coming from. Like, I understand where he's coming from. Would I poison dogs? No. Do I understand why he thinks this is the solution? I guess. I mean,
if nobody else is doing something, then you have to step in, but that still feels so...
And poison's icky, but
Yeah.
if you're not a murderer, you use things like poison and shit so you don't have to watch it happen. You know what I mean? That's how you disconnect yourself from the crime you're committing.
That's fair.
Anyways, so...
Mixed bag.
Let's see. He does. He poisons the dogs. It's real bad. McAfee sees that his dogs are poisoned. He kills his dogs so that they don't have to...
Suffer, yeah.
Yeah. Sit there and die for an hour and a half or whatever.
Dude.
He immediately says it was Greg. And his caretaker says that the next morning, John was... Oh, I'm sorry. His driver is not Cassius. His caretaker is Cassius. I don't remember his driver's name.
Whatever.
Anyways.
Cassius is a great name.
Cassius is a great name. John's caretaker says that the next morning, John was yelling about how he was going to kill Greg, but thought that he was just, like, mad talking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The next night, Gregory Fall leaves a message with his friend and says, there's someone in my yard, and declined his friend's offer to come over to his house.
Mm-hmm.
Then that next morning, Fall is found dead.
Fuck.
There's a massive damaged gunshot wound, which is a weird way to say it, but that's what the police guy says. He says it's a massive damaged gunshot wound.
It basically, my
in the head.
understanding, yeah, I was going to say it's either like in a vital organ or the head.
Yeah. And his body is covered in taser marks, which, like, if you've shot somebody in the head, taser seems excessive.
Or you tasered them first and then shot them in the head.
Oh, that's true. Cassius says this was the timeline as he experienced it. Thursday night, the dogs are poisoned. Friday morning, John tells Cash to put $5,000 in this guy named Eddie Mack's account. Eddie Mack is one of his hitmen that they were enemies. They were both spent weeks, like, looking for each other to kill each other. And then when John finally found him, he was like, how about I just pay you to be one of my guys, and then you know that I won't kill you, and then you won't kill me because I'm your money. So
that's how that works, I suppose.
I mean, yeah, it is. When you have money, that's how you do it. So they're, like, tenuously cool.
Fuck. Okay.
But so he has Cash put $5,000 in Eddie Mack's account.
Okay.
One of his girlfriends, that's on Friday. One of his girlfriends says that she was with him the whole night. Like, he was in bed asleep when Greg got murdered.
Yeah.
Saturday night. 3 to 4 a.m. on Sunday, so that's Saturday evening, late Saturday evening, Eddie calls Cash and says, hey, come pick me up, and he's at the shop that's 600 feet away from Fall's house.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Cash goes and gets him, and he comes out of the bushes and has him take him to John's.
Yeah.
Which very specifically means you don't want to be seen because it's a 1,200-foot walk to John's house.
Right, yeah.
When they wake up, John's girlfriend says that Mac was there at John's place.
Okay.
So, Thursday night, dogs killed. Friday morning, John pays Mac $5,000. Saturday night, Mac calls and asks for a ride from 600 feet south of Greg's house to John's house.
Yeah.
And then he's there in the morning when they wake up.
Okay. And real quick, when you say John, you're saying...
John McAfee.
Right. And when you say Mac...
I mean Mac, Eddie Mac.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry, because it's both...
That's fair.
Yeah.
The police say, or day of, police go looking for John because he's a person of interest because they had heard him saying that he was going to get even with Greg for poisoning his dogs.
Yeah.
When you have neighbors fighting and somebody dies, you talk to the neighbor, you know?
Mm-hmm.
He hides out for 2 days, and he has his girlfriend go get money from the ATM, and then he calls his driver, who really does way more than a driver at this point. Like, this guy needs a 401k, okay?
Yeah.
He goes to Police City.
He's doing his laundry at this point.
Okay, here's where we really hit some, like, bizarro shit. Like, I know that the stuff already seems strange, but it gets, like, really off rails here.
Wow. I thought we already hit off rails, to be honest.
I thought so, too. This was one of those moments where I was, like, rubbing my face in absolute disbelief.
Yeah.
He goes to Belize City, and he puts powder in his hair, like baby powder,
Yeah.
to make it look more gray. And he's got a cane that he's using now. And he's just, like, wearing, like, a shawl kind of a thing over the top of him.
Wow.
Walking around with his arm like this. And that's his disguise. Excuse me. He arranges for an interview with this guy named Martin Savage. He's a CNN reporter. And when Martin gets off the plane, it's arranged that he's going to stand outside the airport while he waits for somebody to walk up to him and say, "Sorry, I'm late." And then they'll get in a cab or a taxi, whatever. And that taxi will... This is what ends up happening now. Like, that's the deal. That's all he knows, is that he's going to get picked up by a guy that says, "Sorry, I'm late."
Yeah.
You get in the taxi. You go driving all around town, switchbacks, back and forth, whatever.
Losing.
Okay, get out. He looks over. It's another fucking taxi. The big Ben, another fucking taxi. Drive them all around again, and then they come to this, like, gross-ass, rundown-ass motel. Holiday Inn. It is a motel. And, like, sit him in a room. And then John comes walking up into the room. But John's in this disguise.
Yeah.
Of just powder and a cane and a shawl. And it's obviously him. But the guy's like, "I need to humor this man because I want him to sit down and talk to me."
Yes.
And he's obviously insane. And John's like in the room for a minute. And then he throws off the shawl and he's like, "I fooled you, didn't I?" And he's like, "Yeah, you did, buddy. You sure did. Had no idea it was you."
What the fuck, dude?
And then John, like, washes up or whatever to get all the stuff out of his hair.
Oh my god, I wish that I could have that kind of confidence. Or just, it's not even confidence. That's
delusion.
Just, yeah.
And he says that he's on the run from the Belize police because, quote, "it's a vendetta by the government of Belize to take him down and kill him." And that the government would assassinate him.
It's almost like you maybe had a hand in murdering someone.
It's almost like that. You know who didn't run to Belize? Tiger King.
You're not wrong, yeah.
Respect.
2024, bitches.
People interview the Belize prime minister, and they're like, "What's up with the John McAfee stuff?" Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, "Listen, this guy seems like he is increasingly paranoid and, might I say, bonkers." And he does this and everything. He does the hand motion. He's like, bonkers. Like, he's just like, "This is not my problem. This guy's crazy." So he arranges with his driver to take him to the southernmost border of Belize, touching Guatemala. His driver says, "We're going to get you on a boat, and you'll go out to the waters, then you'll come back inland in Guatemala, totally legal, get a legal passport there, you can be good."
Everybody does it.
And then as soon as he knows that he's good, he's back to being ballsy Mr. McAfee again, dick. He takes a photo with someone from Vice, like the entertainment news outlet.
Yeah.
Vice. Yeah.
Wow.
But it's with an iPhone. So the picture has geolocation on it.
Ha! You fucking idiot.
And it's completely voluntary. Like, he's standing there
That's-
smiling. He's like,
I
"Ah!"
was gonna say that's how you get somebody like that.
Yeah. Turns out it wasn't illegal to arrive on a boat without a passport.
It
to
wasn't?
Guatemala. Nope. Sure wasn't. Also turns out that one of his girlfriends, the one that he has taken with him to Guatemala,
Oh, good. She's the lucky one.
is the
That's not-
niece of a high-power attorney in Guatemala. He used to be the attorney general.
Wait a minute. So is he hoping that, like, oh, maybe she's gonna use, like, this is gonna be this? That's why he picked her.
He
Okay.
didn't even know yet.
Oh, okay.
Like, he's talking in this interview about it or whatever, and he's like, and then we're fucked. And she's like, well, you know, I have this uncle, and he's a lawyer. And it turns out he's the fucking AG!
That's so weird.
So,
What the fuck is this guy?
isn't it crazy? Like, just...
that it's like you're making a Fallout character and you put the luck up to 11.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Like, what the fuck?
So he decides to be like, I'm seeking asylum, right? And Belize is like, no, we're going to extradite you.
Yeah.
But this doesn't work, I guess. And so then Interpol gets him. And Vice has cameras and everything, and they get to film his arrest.
Yeah.
Interpol is intending to deport them all back to Belize.
Right.
And his lawyer, his girlfriend's uncle, that used to be attorney general,
Yeah.
says that he can't get a motion filed
What a lazy piece of shit.
until 3 p.m. to
Okay.
stop any deportations. So they could deport him. I'm saying that so weird. So they could deport him at any time before 3 p.m. So do you know what John does?
He deports himself?
He fakes a heart attack.
I want to see that. Does he get dressed up for the occasion?
No, but I did get to watch film of him on the floor, and there's this point where they like move his hand out of the way, and he forgets to act like he's unconscious for a second. He starts to lift his hand, and then he drops it back down. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on right now? It's incredible. They take him to the hospital, and they're checking him out, doing tests and all that jazz, and then he looks up at the clock, and it's after 3, and he goes, you know what, I'm feeling a lot better. I think I'm ready to go back to myself.
You fucking asshole.
So they take him back. His lawyer's appeal made it so that he would be in their prison for up to 13 years doing court stuff until they could deport him to Belize.
Yeah.
And Guatemala's like, no, thank you. So they send him back to the U.S. And he takes a flight to Florida, and he's free.
Okay.
Like, just free, roaming around doing U.S. life shit.
Because the U.S. doesn't know or doesn't care or statute of limitations?
They know, because it was all over the news. All of this was all over the news. We know.
But it's Florida, so it's okay.
Well, I mean, he goes to New York, and I mean, like, he does.
Gross.
He lives.
God, what the fuck? You know what?
Meanwhile-
to each their own.
I guess.
I guess that's how they fucking deal with shit like this. Okay.
Meanwhile, Belize is now looking at forensics to try and help them. And this is the part where I say that I'm going to explain later why nothing comes from what's-his-face and a lot of the reason why I think things are the way they are there, actually. They don't have forensics labs in Belize.
Oh. Okay.
They don't have DNA analysis. They barely have fingerprinting. In 2018, they barely, like, they had only had a few small cases get verdicts with fingerprinting. They just don't have the capacity for it.
That's sad.
Their murder conviction rate is below 3%.
So if you're a murderer, good place to go.
Yeah.
Shitty. Oh my god, that's so shitty. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not okay. To be fair, I know that like the fingerprinting process is also not 100%.
No,
like,
it's fucking not.
It's definitely not.
Well, and forensics aren't 100%
Exactly.
either.
Yeah, it's like all made up science kind of stuff.
Yes.
But
Still.
at least you get the.
Yeah.
You know.
They have never convicted a murder based on forensic science. Never, not once. Anyway, so he just kind of hangs out for a few months, and then in 2013, he ran for president.
What?
Yeah, man. He runs for president for the Independent Party.
Wow, dude.
Makes it pretty far. One of his campaign videos, he says, quote, "Spy cameras are hidden in cactuses." End quote.
What the fuck, dude? Oh my god, wait, that makes so much sense because it's like a person holding up arms. Like this?
Oh my God.
Like...
While he's running for president, the Belizean government asks the FBI to help them investigate the homicide of Greg Paul.
Okay.
They get one of his girlfriends in custody.
No.
Start asking questions.
Good.
And she says they assigned one of his other girlfriends to lure Greg into his living room with a promise of a striptease and such. Quote, "so as to get him all attracted." That's what the Belizean guy said. And get him to leave his door open so that Eddie Mac could come in without force. Mm-hmm. Then Eddie leaves Belize. After this information comes out, Eddie Mac leaves Belize. John loses the run for the Independent Party slot for president.
No.
Runner-up.
That's fucking insane.
Second
That's
place.
insane.
A quick side trot here for those that don't know. The way it works is when you want to run for president, you fill out all the stuff and you go run for the primary, which is where only your party that you're running to represent gets to vote on you to represent them in the big kid presidential election.
Right, yeah.
Once your party has chosen you, you run in the big presidential election and all of America can vote for you.
Right.
Anyways, he loses to Gary Johnson. Then in 2015, he announces that he's going to run in the new Cyber Party for president. That one didn't go as well. But also, he did that in 2015, which means he was running in 2016, and we had the Trump stuff happening. So
yeah, he didn't.
There was way bigger fish than him.
Wow, I bet. Oh my god, I bet that I at one point, because I was super into the news at that time, I probably did hear that he was running.
Probably.
Just offhandedly. Wow, that's crazy. Okay.
In October of 2020,
he's not still going, is he?
the U.S. files charges for not having filed taxes. He's in Spain at the time, and he gets arrested. He's boarding a flight to Turkey.
We don't care if you've murdered or had a hand in murdering someone.
But give us our money.
But God forbid you don't pay your taxes.
Yeah. Or, let's be more clear. God forbid you don't fill out the paperwork to excuse you from paying taxes, even though you've made millions of dollars.
There it is.
God forbid you don't make it legal that you withhold all of your money from the economy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Financial
How dare you?
crisis. Anyways. So he's in Spain getting ready to board a flight to Turkey, and he gets arrested. It had been 4 years since he had paid for income tax. The indictment said that he had earned millions in 2014 to 2018 and never filed. He said if he was sent to the U.S., he would spend the rest of his life in prison because the charges were politically motivated. You do not go to life in prison for 4 years of tax evasion.
No.
He's in prison in Spain while Spain does the court stuff for extraditing because, you know, bureaucracy.
Yeah.
And
Paperwork.
between the time when Spain approves the paperwork to extradite him and them getting to his cell, which is ours, he allegedly dies via self-hanging.
Okay. So he's dead?
He's dead.
He's dead. Good. No, like
The U.S. Justice Department said that he had money being sent to accounts in nominees' names. I don't know what that means. And then he concealed assets by placing them in other people's names as well.
okay.
So not only had he not filed for 4 years, but the ones that he did file on, he was faking the information.
Man, that's okay, real quick. That's just like as much as I don't like prison, I am fairly I mean, I don't know. Maybe somebody who's been to prison can speak on this, but like I would still rather go to prison than just kill myself. Right?
Yeah, especially American prison.
I'm sorry.
especially American prison.
Yeah.
I have to find the whole title. The Dangerous Life of John McAfee.
I'm not gonna lie, a part of me really just wants you to be making that just to make the noise.
I mean, it almost looks like it.
Yeah, it does.
Here's some fun facts about John McAfee.
I feel like I already got a lot. Like, Jesus Christ.
He never used his own antivirus software.
Because he knew it was dog shit.
Yeah, dude. He said that he just consistently changed his IP address, never attached his name to devices, and didn't go on sites one was likely to pick up viruses like porn sites.
So almost like you don't even need that.
Yep.
So why are you paying $60 a month? You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
Fucking, okay.
He also felt that taxation was illegal. And in 2020...
hey, I feel like that's only because, yeah.
Yeah. And then in 2020, before Spain, he was detained in the Dominican Republic for bringing weapons into the country. Allegedly.
Yeah, but also he brought weapons to every country he went to, so...
Yeah, man, lots and lots of people. But yeah, so that's John McAfee. That's what the murder was. He paid somebody to kill that guy, for sure.
Wow, yeah.
And...
You don't just up and leave your place if you didn't murder. You also don't just get in a car to drive around for an hour and then get in another car to go to where you need to go.
I hope, like, the only way that could have been any better was if the taxi that they hopped into from the first taxi was at the airport. Like, that's the only way that could have been any better than it was. I just love that he comes walking to a room with a shawl and baby powder in his hair, and he's like, I fooled you, didn't I? And the guy, you should have seen the look on this guy's face, the savage guy. He's just like, and I mean, I'm like, yeah, you got me. You know? It's incredible. Yeah.
Oh, man. It sounds like a fucking cartoon. Like, it sounds like a Family Guy moment where the only thing that was missing was that he also got in a boat and he also got in a helicopter.
Yeah, well, he did get on a boat.
Yeah, he did get on a boat.
Oh, you meant the guy. Yeah, you're right. You meant Savage.
I meant the guy. The guy that's like fucking flying, like going into. Because once you're in like a taxi to get into another taxi, like where does that stop?
Yeah, you're not wrong. It was incredible, though. I will also note that the gal that did the thing that he had like email correspondences with over like a year while she was making her documentary.
Yeah.
Totally worth a watch, by the way. I'll name it in my sources. But there was this point where he immediately felt like she was trying to take him down, like from the get-go. And so he was always kind of adversarial, but also could not stop himself from emailing her. I mean, like her first email was like, hey, can I ask you questions about stuff? And he was like, absolutely not.
Let me answer all these.
Let me tell you a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like she was just like, well, I guess I won't get anything from him, and walked away from it, and then came back and there was a bunch of emails from him. And that would happen a lot. Like he'd be like, we're done. And then he'd get back in there and email her a bunch of shit.
Wow.
And at one point she went to one of his like presidential, I don't know, where they get there and answer questions and shit. And debates.
Yeah.
And was like, hey, I just want to congratulate you on your run. Da-da-da-da-da. And she's like, you still talk to the people in Belize and blah, 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 you know? And he's being pretty cordial. And then he goes, she's like, do you recognize me? Because it was weird how nice he was being. And he's like, I do not. Thanks for being honest, right?
Yeah.
And she goes, I'm Nanette. That's the lady. And he goes, you're Nanette. Are these your people? And he's talking about the cameras. And she's like, yeah. And he's like, I would like you to turn those off. I will not be filmed. And she's like, we're at a public event.
Yeah, like...
So he just like gets up and starts leaving.
That's funny.
And then he emails her, and I can't remember most of what he said, but it was like a bunch of crazy person stuff about how, like, you know, he's going to put every ounce, piece, particle,
yeah, his whole soul
of energy into taking her down. She will be his magnum opus.
Jesus Christ.
That's the last thing he emailed her. You will be my magnum opus.
What a
Which
fucking...
is greatest work, by the way.
What a fucking
I did have
nut
to look it up. I didn't know what it meant. So that means somebody else doesn't know somewhere.
Oh my god.
Yeah, dude.
What's funny is that I was gonna say, like, I'm gonna use magnum opus as an episode, but now I know what that means. What the fuck, dude?
He's bonkers. That
Analogy?
Belizean prime minister was on the money. He was bonkers.
Yeah.
But I mean, he had been using drugs and alcohol for 40 years by that point.
I know. The way that he said that he was doing yoga all that time.
That really was doing drugs and alcohol for that long. Yeah. He studied with the OG cocaine maker, you know.
What the fuck, dude? Wow.
Yeah, man.
That's nuts. Okay.
Yeah. So that's John McAfee.
I'm so happy we got to do that. I've been waiting for that shit. I didn't realize he was that crazy.
It was a feat to unpack. I will say that. Will you hand me that one right on top? My sources are Forbes India, ABC News, Bloomberg Podcast, which I only ended up using a little bit, and then Gringo, The Dangerous Life of John McAfee. And there was a little bit of wiki in there, but for the most part, it was just that, and I think I used a little bit Britannica, if I remember correctly.
Cool.
So yeah, those were all my sources. John McAfee was crazy, and then he killed himself because he didn't want to go to prison.
Which is still so
But it was 2020, so like... I know it in my heart of hearts. He was like, this is going to be dramatic as fuck. And then everybody was like, oh, the world's ending.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't even know he was dead. And a lot of people didn't know he was dead. Juan didn't know he was dead. You didn't know he was dead. You probably did not know he was dead.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't before I started reading up.
You know what? Now that I think about it, prison in 2020? Maybe not. Maybe not for me.
Maybe the worst, maybe the best.
Yeah.
Because they were being super chill on shit because of it. You know, I don't know.
I guess you're right. I do know
or they weren't. I don't know.
Or
everybody was in solitary.
From the prison podcast that I was listening to at the time, they weren't able to interview people from the inside, and they weren't able to go inside.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that it was very much like because they were able to get a phone call one time from because they always have somebody that's like on the inside that works for them or works with them. I mean, they always get interviews on the inside, right. But they have somebody that is legit right there. Sorry. And so he was saying that, like, I mean, we can't fucking go anywhere. We can't talk to anyone. Like, we can't do shit. Oh. And he's just been missing everyone. So it's like, oh, shit. I know now that it's probably more open, but admittedly, I haven't listened to the podcast for a minute. So, yeah. Okay, so maybe not in 2020, but yeah, either way, prison over death any day. As of right now.
American prison over death any day.
Yes, yeah.
For sure. Where can they find you?
If you want to find me, you can find me at I am the Johnny5. That's for chess.com and Reddit. And if you want to find me on Lead Chess and Twitch, you can find me at XXX Johnny5 XXX. Where are they going to find you?
At CatEaterr on all the stuff. CatEaterr. Find us on Threads at CWTabout.com or .com at CW. Okay. We were almost smooth. We still have not successfully done one of these without any sort of hiccup.
No, there was one. We got very, very it was we purposefully fucked it up so that way we
because it was too close.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fair. Find us on Threads at CWTAbout. Email us CWTAbout@gmail.com. We're on Patreon at CWTAbout. Please consider it. We're still building it. I know there's not a whole lot on there, but we do this on our own time with our own funds.
We're slowly putting more effort. We're getting the fact that you can actually see this is kind of cool. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I don't know. And
progress.
Then, like it's a love.
We are investing, and we'd be able to invest more faster if you invested in us.
Passion project. There we go.
Yeah.
That's what I was going for.
Also, Johnny is taller than me.
Yeah, you don't know that. That's fine. I don't care. That's fine.
My chair's just higher. And we'll have better arrangement and everything. This is just day one. So.
Yeah. We should also put that in there. This is the second episode. we recorded both in the same day. So it's not like we're just always going to wear these same...
Oh, yeah, we batch record during the summer, so there's going to be like 3 episodes where we're wearing the same stuff frequently.
Yeah.
We change our clothes.
Yeah.
Okay, I love you. Bye.
Bye.